but I just came back from drifting a 2,000 horsepower car around a frozen lake. How can I be?
Do you still pinch yourself sometimes?
Well, the pinching for me is like when I look at my phone and like, 1,000 issues. That's like reality.
I guess that's
and
a
I
big
feel
part of
bad
it.
for not being in the factory now, with the guys solving problems and instead being here. But
Well,
okay, sometimes you have to do that as well.
I don't. I'm happy you're here. I mean, you're in this role now with Bugatti since is it 4 years now already?
Yeah.
Wow, time flies, huh?
Yeah.
So one thing we hear is that you're sort of, as a CEO, you're a bit unconventional. You're a bit techie, geeky, carefully said maybe. Is that how you would describe yourself in this role as well, or?
Yeah, I mean, for me, product is number one. Yeah, just casually a McLaren F1 and a F50.
Talking about product, yes.
And Jag, wow. One of the first Pagani Zondas, the first Koenigsegg.
The first Koenigsegg, yes, we had that on an episode. It's amazing, huh?
So it's for me, it's all about the product. And when someone tells me you can't do this or that, I'm like, let me show you.
And is there other times where basically you would be able to go further, but you probably have to brace yourself a little bit because you're also in charge of such a strong heritage and a brand like Bugatti?
But that's the beauty of having Rimacs. Maybe some things that are too crazy for Bugatti, we can still do in Rimacs.
On the other side.
You know, like I have some pretty crazy ideas and I wanted to do some of them in Bugatti. And then I realized, maybe better for Rimacs, maybe to test them first and then to do it in Bugatti maybe at some later point.
And if, let's imagine, you wouldn't have ended up in this direction building your own car company, what else sort of simmers within you?
Good question. I mean, my dream was to do anything for BMW, anything. Like once I met an engineer, like a guy who is from the same village like me, who was working for BMW.
Yeah.
And for me, he was like a god, and he was just developing like the rear seat of a 5 Series. And for me, it was like, wow, I mean, how does that even look like? How does your day look like? Like, which tools do you use? Like, how does the office look like where you work? Like, for me, it was just fascinating to do anything like that. Like, I would be happy if I did anything. And like, I mean, I could not have imagined doing what I'm doing now. It's the best possible outcome, best possible.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, you're surrounded by your products in a way. Isn't it insane?
Yeah, pretty crazy. Also, you know, in some other cars, you know, we have our batteries and powertrains and so on. So I really feel like part of this industry. And you know, I loved Geneva because it was like a window to the future, like what's coming, you know. And you're always guessing like which are these camouflage cars that are photographed in Sweden and stuff like that. That doesn't really happen anymore. Like in Germany, you would say Erlkönig.
Erlkönig, exactly. Yes,
yeah, you would have like photographers hiding in bushes in Sweden and in front of test centers. And you know, I was so curious to see what would come next, reading the magazines, every magazine from, you know, beginning to end. And now, you know, we are of course developing our own cars, and I know what will come in 5 years, 10 years. Look at that, I love this. So how they put the carpet underneath, and you see exactly why.
Oh yes,
it's quite a puddle.
Jesus, yeah. But that's part of the spirit of an old car, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is Katarina's car. She is a lady that drives around with this Bentley around Europe and in many other places. Pretty crazy, and she's running it in rallies and in events like this.
Cool.
And it's such an old car that it has actually the throttle light thing on the left side and the brake, and the clutch on the right or something like that.
So are you honoring the history, or what's your view on that?
You know, when I was coming, I think everyone was like, oh, this Croatian young guy making electric cars will make Bugatti into electric and digital, you know? And that would be the easiest thing. Like if you look at the Nevera, it's like comfortable, you know, you have space inside, it's easy to get in and out, like Bugatti should be. Yeah. You have 2,000 horsepower, 400 plus kilometers per hour, 4-wheel drive. Like you could easily imagine it to be the platform for an electric Bugatti.
For sure.
And it will be like 10% of the work of what you, 1% of the work to build the Tourbillon. But it wasn't the right thing. I know the customers. I didn't fully understand the brand, but I felt doing the Tourbillon, a new V16 and stuff like that is maybe a bit into the radical direction for Bugatti. You'll see when you drive it. It's different than a Chiron and a Veyron. You know, it's more sporty. It's more more raw as well.
Okay.
But you know, it's sold out. Customers love it. But you always ask yourself, are you doing the right thing? And of course, I'm respecting the brand's heritage, but you know, I also don't want to change who I am. You know, like I'm not someone who will walk around always with a tie because now I'm representing Bugatti. That's not me.
No, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And I think that's an important bit. And actually, having that sort of humbleness and also questioning if you're doing the right thing actually helps you do the right thing. I think probably for you then your start of basically also your BMW, that still is a very, very essential part of your well, the essence of what you're doing. I mean, that's a holy grail to you, isn't it?
That was the most beautiful part of my career. When I didn't have any worries, I was just building that car in a garage, and like I go racing, and the cool thing is like you know immediately if you were better or not because the stopwatch doesn't lie. You know, you go for a race and you see how you're done. Now, you know, when you develop a car, there's thousands of people involved, lots of money.
How many employees have you got now in total between?
2,300, 400
Jesus,
people. Yeah.
Wow. How do you see yourself in the role? I mean, running a huge, successfully running startup in Croatia, and also being in charge of that sort of that jewel in Molsheim. Is that something that you sort of are aware of?
Yeah, well, it's two companies. It's Bugatti Rimac and Rimac Technology. And now I just appointed finally a CEO for Rimac Technology. So getting a little bit out of that so that I can fully focus on Bugatti Rimac. So I have a great guy who will run it, Nordin. And it takes 100%, more than 100% of your time, like 200% of your time to run something like Bugatti Rimac. And as you say, it's very successful now. In 2025, he had the most successful year, and most cars produced, highest revenue, highest profitability. Bugatti is now profitable after quite a while. And I just have so many ideas, so many things I want to do.
You probably have to.
You know, the Tourbillon is like, it's amazing, it's a great thing, but there's so much more I want to do after that. So it takes focus to realize that, because having ideas is nothing, it's easy. Everyone can have an idea. To make it happen, especially in the automotive world, it's like between an idea and the product on the road, it's 5-6 years. You know, you need to make it work technically, commercially, homologation, everything, you know. Yeah, I can't wait next year here with a Tourbillon, hopefully,
yes,
with a V16 ripping through the lake. I can't wait for someone to put a straight pipe on it.
Yes,
maybe that will be us, I don't know.
Well, when you're here next year, one passenger lap maybe?
Yeah, let's do that.
Cool. Well, thank you very much, Mate.
Cool, thank you, Marcus.
Thank you.